Hi guys, today I want to talk to you guys about how HIV positive workers should not be required to tell their employers that they're HIV positive. I firmly believe that people who have HIV should not be required to tell their employers that they're HIV positive if the virus is kept under control. The fact is that having HIV is a very highly private matter, and if it is kept under control and is not hurting anybody, then it should not be required to be mentioned to the employer. AIDS-Map did a research about how the amount of HIV in a blood system, or the viral load as they call them, can be kept under control, and it can prevent transmission if taking the correct medication to keep it at the low. This simply shows how science can keep the virus from being transmitted. Another fact that I wanted to mention is that having HIV, again, is a very private matter. And for example, if a worker were to go to a job interview and they would say that they are HIV positive, even if they say that they keep it under control, there's a very high chance that they will reject their offer and job application just because they have COVID. People are so close-minded nowadays, and society just marginalizes people who have HIV when they are not correctly informed that HIV can be kept under control to stop it from being transmitted. Another example that I wanted to mention that the U.S. Department of Veterans gave, which shows how science has grown so much nowadays, is how an HIV positive mother got pregnant from an HIV positive guy, and they both conceived a negative HIV kid, which shows how this happened because both parents and of course the kid was getting medications, constant medication to stop the HIV from spreading and it being conceived and sent to the child. So this shows how science works, and how if you keep up with the medication just personally and not if you're pregnant, it can stop the virus from being transmitted, which shows how it is not important, if you're keeping the virus under control, it is not important to tell the employer that you are HIV positive. Also, another huge point that I wanted to mention is how HIV is a controllable virus. So this virus can be kept under control with medication. There are millions of other viruses and sicknesses and diseases that cannot be kept under control. Even if you can get better and there's a cure to these sicknesses that I'm not going to mention now, they are still worse than HIV. HIV is a lifetime virus, but it can be kept under control. Now, for example, COVID or hepatitis B, these are viruses and diseases that can't be kept under control and should be mentioned in the workplace. For example, these viruses can kill people. I firmly believe that these should be mentioned when being interviewed. If you had COVID, or you have COVID, or you had hepatitis B, or you have hepatitis B, these are the viruses that should be mentioned because these viruses cannot be kept under control. So these are the viruses that should be mentioned. But HIV is a virus, as mentioned before, that can be controlled. So if the virus is kept under control, I don't see why workers should mention their employers about the virus that they have. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.